So we clear, I think both Democrats and Republicans is full of that shit you flush down toilets, and both of them fascists. I think that the government that's fascist will always be ran, and somebody gonna have to hold that position down. What I know is that as a black man, I'm gonna be disproportionately held accountable for how I conform to the law, how I conform to the law. I can put up under that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? As somebody that got a mama and a daddy that's convicted felonies, that's dealing with incarceration, and a whole bunch of sisters that's also trying to be able to have autonomy over their bodies, I am worried about a lot of shit. But one thing I'm not worried about though, is thinking that any of these politicians really give a damn about me. What I know is that just because you put a silk press, you feel me, and a beautiful smile on fascism, it does not change that it's fascism. You feel me? What I think is that you gotta pick your favor of fascism that you think is more palatable and consumable for you and yours, but recognizing that it's still fascism. Don't be tricked. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that black people's responsibility is to say democracy. Democracy ain't never saved us. As a matter of fact, what has democracy ever done for black folks? For me, I think that right now, we just in a position that we trying to mitigate harm. That's all we can do. I don't think that Kamala Harris gonna do everything she say she gonna do. I don't think Donald Trump gonna do everything he say he gonna do. I think both of them, again, is full of that shit. I just think one of they shit stink more than the other one do. But it don't change to this shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't be bamboozled. Don't be hoodwinked to none of this right here. And think about it. Just because you don't do politics don't mean politics ain't gonna do you. Politically, socially, economically, the way they codify legislation and laws, you feel me? It's gonna impact the way you live, the way you pay your bills, the way you put food on the table, the way you take care of them kids, the way you teach them kids. All gonna be impacted based off of who's running the fascist empire. And don't change the fascist empire. But what I do know is we all trying to spot it. Just don't never get it twisted. Man, I went and voted yesterday. Yay. But I'm also about to get ready to barbecue because, you know what I'm saying, I got me a little grill. Oh, I'm trying to see if I can show y'all.
Oh, what you cooking?
Damn, can you see it? You can see it like that. You know what I'm saying? You see what we got right here, you feel me? But I got some steak that's been marinating for a couple of days while I reflect and kind of give some predictions on this whole election, because we know it's going to take hella long for us to get some results. I was going down a TikTok little rabbit hole yesterday, and I came across this constitutional lawyer that was talking real turkey, you know what I'm saying, about all the implications that happened in 2000 when George Bush and the Republicans hijacked the election from Americans and Al Gore, you know what I'm saying? And recognize that Republican majority Supreme Court, they was able to make some precedents that wasn't that good. You know what I'm saying? Take the steak out real fast. You take your steak out. You think it's been marinating for about a day. You know what I'm saying? Say hey, Zane.
Hey.
We know that to be a single issue voter ain't that good. I've been being really critical about how we talk about Israel-Palestine, specifically when it comes to supporting Kamala Harris and when it comes to voting against Donald Trump. But also recognizing that when it comes to like fascism or when it comes to international relations, that Donald Trump and Kamala Harris has some very similar points, you know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, it was points in this election campaign that I felt like if I closed my eyes, I felt like George Bush would have a silk press and be an AKA that went to Howard, goddamn. That's how much he's copied and pasted so much of his politics and international relations, to militarism when it comes to drilling and oil. It's like, hey man, on one thing, Kamala people be like, shit, we want to champion all of the amazing things we did for the environment. But on the other end, she be like, drill, baby, drill.
Drill, baby, drill.
You stuck between the hard rock and the hard spot.
I don't care how they vote.
You don't know if you want to canonize your left support by trying to appeal to the middle, or if you want to, be a progressive. The way that I was able to predict what happened at the DNC and thinking about how it was going to be traditional liberalism versus progressivism, that's really what has happened, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to this whole election too. But we're talking about what was going down on TikTok a couple of weeks ago, where people having conversations about, a leftist versus a liberal versus, you know what I'm saying, what's her name? Emily Pendleton. Man, I think that what we info right now is a lot. And just like I'm trying to flavor up this whole lamb chop, I think that that's what you info this year in terms of the election. I feel like I'm in every election. Your flavor of fascism. The flavor of fascism that is the most palatable, that you think is going to be, good for you and your family. Because no matter what we get, we're going to get some fascism. What we know, regardless of whether you participate in the election or not, the fascist empire will be ran. And the results of the election, you feel me, will end up dictating who's going to end up getting, that spot. Who can sit and be the commander. And you being like, I didn't vote. That's how I was able to make sure I still voted, because my grandma should be able to afford some insulin. You feel me? I shouldn't have to worry about police immunity if they do something bad. Get this seasoned up real nice. I think that when it comes to third party shit, I feel like Jill Stein and Ward, they did their thing, tried to anyway. But I feel like, man, when y'all trying to go for a symbolic victory of just getting you, like, I think they needed 5% to be able to get federal funding, and y'all know y'all had no chance to win. To me, it's like, shit, y'all posturing, y'all damn near in this instance, to me, like the worst leftists. Because to me, it's like, You definitely want to be a leftist and you don't want to be a liberal, right? You don't want to be lost in the sauce with status quo that's always trying to justify the marginalization of black, brown, queer people while trying to make sure you have your most comfort, you know what I'm saying, way of being able to exist in the status quo. To me, that's what like liberalism do. You know what I'm saying? That's what liberalism. And don't get me wrong, sometimes you gotta protect progress. I know that, you know what I mean? But when it comes to this election though, we in for a couple of weeks of chaos. Cause man, what they did way back when then, it wasn't good. And to my editor, man, I'm gonna be rambling and ranting this whole time and me cooking this lamb chops, this steak. I had some black beans, some ground beef that I made yesterday. It's probably gonna be enough for me.
That sounds fair to me, right?
My wife, they're gonna be able to get her some macaroni and cheese and some salad.
Yeah, I gave up my salad.
As I'm cooking this up, shout out to HEB. They had these little shrimps for me, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna make sure we on. You ready for Kumar, Zane? You gotta do that, do soup while you do this. Hey, Zane, son, hey, man, I'm gonna have so many videos. I think about like like this election cycle has stressed me out in so many different ways that my wife had to remind me today, like, hey, listen, man, you can't wear what's happening in this election emotionally. You feel me? It's out of your hands now. You went and voted early. You did what you could do. It is what it is. Now we just sit and now we just wait. You know what I'm saying? People like Marjorie Greene Taylor didn't even wait too long to already start pushing the conspiracy theories about what people's that balance is happening because they voted for Donald Trump and this old shit, you know what I'm saying? So we already knowing they create a narrative to be able to qualify any type of concern or worry about the legitimacy of this right here. If they don't get what they want and they can't don't win, they gonna definitely say they was cheated. They already done set it up for it. Go start this grill, man. I see what I'm working with.
Slow down, baby.
See what I'm working with right here.
That's a beauty, Richie.
I mean, when I was moving to my new house, my grill had failed. So this mug holding on by a limb. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden dropping out and all those student protests really got me thinking about 1968 and what I know about 1968 and how Richard Nixon was able to beat Hubert Humphrey by like 0.5 of a vote because the president at the time, Lyndon B. Johnson, decided to act too late when it came to Vietnam. And at that time, a lot of Americans was pissed off about how a lot of our kids and nephews and grandkids, you feel me, and cousins was getting off, you know what I'm saying, in Vietnam. But we also was thinking like, God damn, we can't even eat. We can't even, you know what I'm saying, pay our bills, but y'all got all this money for this whole war. Sound real similar, real familiar, you know? Right now you gotta clean the grill, you know what I'm saying, like this right here, get it right, you know?
I'm a chef.
To me, type of leftist that I am, I think I get to choose who I want to go. I think right now I get to choose who I'm going to organize with in 2025 and beyond. And right now, I think that politically, socially, economically, Vice President Kamala Harris is the best choice for me to be able to organize against and be able to try to, you know what I'm saying, make demands. I think the way that the capacity of the white supremacist sympathizing, the KKK, you know, supporters, I don't think that I'm going to be able to organize against them, especially when Donald Trump is referring to American citizens as an enemy within, especially when you're going to take away my ability to be, say, freedom of speech and freedom to rally and protest, especially when it comes to what's happening to Palestinians and say that I'm an enemy within, especially me being a black man doing this, knowing that I have a high proclivity of getting my ass knocked out by law enforcement and knowing that he want to get that law enforcement qualified immunity, make it where you can never prosecute. So the idea of being hashtag will have a whole nother idea in the Trump presidency because the way you go about getting justice, it's gonna be gone because you can't even hold the law enforcement accountable. Like, I don't want to live in that America at all. I think that whether you vote for the left or you vote for the right, you get to get your flavor of fascism and recognize that internationally, a lot of them only care about expanding the empire of America. That's the reason why Tim Walz, during his vice president debate, said that it is imperative that America knows that Israel must expand. And I think that that's some colonial settler shit right there that I can't rock with. So to me, if Kamala Harris loses this election, she only gonna be able to blame white women and white people in its totality, because we know that goddamn going back, we know that typically majority of white people Republican, they don't vote Democrat. But also I think I have to ask myself multiple times throughout this whole entire campaign, does Kamala Harris care more about showing her loyalty to Zionism and Zionist money, or does she care more about winning? Because if you got over 1 million uncommitted people telling you they are a single issue voter and that they only want you to do a ceasefire or only want you to do X, Y, and Z, and your only response to that is lip service about endlessly working for a ceasefire, they don't get it, then I'm questioning how much you want to win. But I told you they want to vote for you. They told you what they're willing to do in order to vote for you. And you ain't, you know what I'm saying, you ain't budge on it really, you feel me? As a matter of fact, I was at the DNC and I remember how annoyed I felt then, like, damn, y'all letting everybody touch that DNC stage except for Palestinian American. Y'all got a whole bunch of democratically elected Democrats up in here, you know what I'm saying, that y'all ain't letting hit that stage, and that shit really bothered me, man. It really made me upset. So we know that Fox News finna be sending all of the misinformation they can about what's going on. You know, I've rambled enough though, man. Here goes some predictions. I think that there would be at least one traditional Democratic state and one traditional Republican state that would end up being flipped the other way. This means that there are some states that we historically believe is always already being Democrat. They might go purple, as in Republican. There's going to be states. I'm hoping Georgia come through again, but you know, Republicans did a lot of things with legislation to make it where it's hard to get all those votes in a timely manner when it comes to Georgia. But I'm thinking there's going to be a Republican state that also flips red as well. Me and my wife, when we were voting, heard this man talk about how he never voted in his life. And this man was like at least 50. And recognizing that there's going to be a lot of voting patterns that's going to change a little bit because the ballot ain't used to hearing from particular positions and voices. It's like in 2016 when a lot of those white folks that was in Missouri and Kansas and the Dakotas that we hadn't seen or heard from Ronald Reagan's presidency stepped out, that would happen. Also too, in 2025, I bought me I get like some better content coming, man. I went on and bought me a teleprompter, man. Yeah. Yes. I got my son on the camera. Go out here and grill this meat up.
I was running down.
I'm just I feel like it's gonna be some people that be like, oh, pause, but in my mind, man, you say pause, do something like that. Why you got penis on your mind like that? You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about real meat, real steak, real.
It's on me.
I'm back. I'm thinking it's gonna take at least a week for us to get a decision on who's up, who's winning. It's gonna be a long. I also think that there will be a real it's gonna be a real suspect way that both liberal media and conservative media tries to single out different minorities for the results in this election. And I think what that does is that it makes it where a white electorate base is never held accountable. See that? A white electoral base is never held accountable for how they vote because they always, you know, it's being able to do what they want to do, but then everybody else got to explain for how they voted, you know what I'm saying? Just like, you know what I'm saying, that happened in 2016. Donald Trump won. We tried to blame everybody but white folks, you know what I'm saying, for who did what and how it happened. And it was like kind of crazy, man. See how they on that marinating right now though. You know, only got 3 of them. It was like $25 for the pound. I can afford 1 pound this time. I think Joe Biden's legacy will definitely be impacted the same way that Lyndon B. Johnson is, where we don't think of him as a good president like that, but maybe you was able to pass, you know, a landmark, you know, a bill, a landmark, you know what I'm saying, piece of legislation. For him, it might be about what he did in climate change, but I feel like I don't think the history books is going to do old Joseph Biden a good way.
That's why it's so sad.
Especially seeing how unapologetic he was about already being a Zionist, even in the face of recognizing that Zionism is described and defined in opposition to Palestinian humanity. I think that's going to be something right there that the history books is not going to be very fond of to a lot of y'all that really was lost in the sauce of American imperialism, that believed that regardless of what's going on, we should always already be able to do what the hell we want to do in other people's countries while being able to do it without no consequences. You know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of times right here, what I recognize is that it's not just Republicans that's invested on people being dumb, especially when we start talking about the implications of our politics. What I've known since October 7th, you know what I'm saying, to now, is that anytime I start talking about American politics, specifically when it comes to international relations with, you know what I'm saying, how we keep on giving tax dollars to Israel, Palestine, people always tell me, we gotta worry about us first. We can't worry about this. And she gotta take care of her first. She's like, hey, listen, man, my biggest beef right now, and I called this shit when I was, you know what I'm saying, 2019 and 2020, is that there is a lot of people that Democrats and leftists and liberals claim they care about, but they only give a damn about them really when Donald Trump was in office. If Donald Trump was in office right now, shit, that damn genocide probably would have stopped by now, because people would have been able to say that genocide is being brought on by Donald Trump. In this instance, because shit, we know Netanyahu, and they've been doing what they've been doing to Palestinians since 1948, shit, some could even say since the Palestine mandate going back to like the early 1900s, you're able to, you know what I'm saying, almost wiggle out of the criticism. You feel me? Some color. Grill. Cut this steak up a little bit. Not perfect. Hope it says digestible as the flavor of fascism you decide to go with, because I hate to say it like that, but America's a fascist government. Maybe I go more in depth with that by providing y'all a definition of fascism and then reading the definition and then making it applicable to what I'm talking about. That's good. For many Americans, no matter how radical or how conservative you is, a lot of that romanticized facade of America being so perfectly democratic. When people are talking about how they believe that Donald Trump was right for leaving Roe v. Wade up to the states, imagine how we left slavery up to the states. A lot of me being born and raised in Texas, a lot of my family members would have been still born and raised on a plantation because you believe that American federalism, American, you know what I'm saying, government is about the states being able to determine for themselves. The same argument the slave master used to justify the enslavement in slave states. Education elevation is crazy, man. Now it's done, man. Now it's done. Lamb chop looking good. See that? Got a pink on the inside like I like it, medium. Don't mind my foot right there. You know what I'm saying? Put that out the frame. My daughter did this right here. Wash my dish. It look good though, man.